I have finished the build on this surprise rabbit hutch. So that's what we're getting is rabbits. So 2x2s are on the roof. That's what's gonna be my support for the roof. It doesn't need to be major load bearing, though it is super solid. And they were 8 foot long, so I had to make some joints here and on the back side over there. I stagger my joints, so if I did it here, I'm gonna do it over there in the back. And each one of these cages, these are just the store-bought collapsed cages that you fold up, and they're by Do More, I believe. You get them at Tractor Supply, and they're 36 by 30, which is an excellent breeding cage size. That's about the size you want. And so I got 3 of them, and obviously, as you can see, I made this frame to fit the 3 of them, and they slide in and out. I can move them out, I can clean them. And that was the biggest thing. I didn't want to build a wooden one because it's like straight wood, because rabbits like to chew on wood. And I wanted this thing to be built out of pressure treated so it would last. So I wanted the cages on the inside, the wood on the outside. And this is what I came up with. And I'm really happy with it so far. I did add some of these hog rings. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but they just are like a clamp that I use on my cattle panels. So I put one on each side of each one of these just for extra rigidity, however you say that word, rigidity. And then I made this just out of some hardware cloth that I had and a bungee on each one to hold their hay. And then the no dust filter feeders, the J feeders, and then just little water bottles, nothing crazy. And then for the bottom, now, when people build these frames out of wood, a lot of times they put 2x4s across the bottom to support these cages. Again, rabbits don't weigh a whole lot. You don't need a whole lot to support them. I used all thread. So, across the front, this is what you got. 2 of these for every cage. And if you look underneath, so you don't have to worry about rabbit poo caking up on a 2x4 like it would if it was underneath it. And it should just go right past the all thread and be a whole lot more easily managed. And so I think I used 3 5-foot sticks of all thread and some washers, and that was it. I'm about finished. I just got to put the roof on, maybe a couple extra supports, because I'm a supportive person. I put way too many supports on things. Like rabbits and chickens are the lightest animals you could own, and chicken coop, this rabbit hutch, I just reinforce. Like I could lay on this, a couple people could probably lay on this and be fine. So so once I'm done adding to this, I will do a breakdown of what all material I used and how much it cost and all that good stuff, because right now I'm not sure, because I'm not sure if I'm done yet. But that's how it goes when I build stuff. I'm like, I'll add this here, and then next thing you know, it's ridiculous. But basically, this is the gist of it. So this is all ripped 2x4s. I ripped out of 2x8s because with lumber prices being what they are right now, everything's expensive, and it was cheaper for me to buy 2x8s by 10 foot long and rip those into 2x4s than it would be for me to buy 2x4s. So a little extra work, but it saves money in the long run. I did have to put a support here to keep this distance the same the whole way. And also I'm probably gonna rig up a screen that slides in, if that makes sense, to protect them during winter and things, and then I can slide it back out. So this is here for that, and it'll rest on there. Well, I said I would come back and show y'all once it was all finished, once I finished putting my braces in and everything else I wanted to add, and that is all done. Everything is done. It is structurally sound and complete. I just have to add the corrugated vinyl roof and paint it. I'm about to paint it now. That's why I got the tarp down. These are all 2x2s for the roof, because you don't need anything too crazy. Just threw in some center supports throughout to hold the corrugated. Put in some little 45s to support everything. I got these supports on the corner, some more down there at the bottom, and then I did cross pieces to keep the legs from buckling and bowing and all that good stuff. And also, if you're worried about this all thread, it's you know, they're not sharp. These are the factory ends that I used, so they're not sharp. And then what I did, there was only like 1.5 inches sticking out the back, so I took my my angle grinder with a sanding thing on it and sanded it down and cut it off. Holding, ready to go, ready to paint. So catch back and we'll be doing some painting. So, and I'm gonna paint it the same color as my chicken coop because that's how I am. My chicken coop's that color, my shed is that color, and my house is that color. I like things to coordinate. But I guess it would have been cool if I painted a fun color, but I'm boring. So, all right. Just having a little lunch. So, side note, do not drink and operate tools, power tools. Not a good idea. I'm done with all my cuts. Now I'm painting. You've seen painters. All right, so anyways, I do not like painting. It's not fun, but it needs to be done. 4 2x8x10s, 4 2x2x8s, okay? And that accounts for all of the lumber used in this whole 10-foot long structure. That accounts for all these little scrap pieces I use to make my angles for these supports. That accounts for the supports on the bottom. Everything you see wood here, that accounts for. So that's the whole entire project. So all in, we're at about 180 bucks, not counting the cages. So if you're gonna build one of these, you need to look at about $200 just for your stand if you're making it like this, which this is a solid stand. I don't have to worry about it blowing over. I don't have to worry about, you know, it not lasting, because I was gonna purchase some of those aluminum brackets, like stand brackets you can purchase for the cages specifically, but they just seem cheesy, and then all my cages are stacked up, and I wanted it horizontal, not vertical. That's the best part about this. I can move cages in and out with ease. It's not a problem. Everything's glued and screwed. And that's the other thing. So the other 20 bucks accounts for screws. So 200 bucks, we'll call it, all material to build this. And I use 2.5 and 3 inch screws. I do have 5/8 inch screws to put the vinyl on. So about 50 of those. It won't take 50 of them probably, but I like to have more available. And then however many screws. We'll check back when we get the rest of it painted up and the roof on. So here we are. The roof is on. It's all painted, put together, and done. Officially done. If you've ever messed with this roofing, corrugated vinyl, it's make sure your cuts are perfectly square, and make sure that what you're attaching it to is perfectly square, because if you're trying to get it exactly the same overhang and length on the sides and all that stuff, it can really mess you up if you're even a slight bit off, because this stuff, you know, it's just, you'll be doing some pulling and stretching and getting it perfect all the way across, and that's kind of what I went through. It's just kind of a pain to work with. So if there's some way that you can make your roof just one long stretch of it where you don't have to do cuts, I advise that. Me and this stuff got into it a little bit, and now I've cut this stuff before, but I used like big tin snips, and that was a nightmare for my hands. So I read somewhere that you could use a carbide tipped circular saw, and that's what I did, and that does not work very well. So what I ended up using was my grinder with a cutoff wheel. It basically just melted through it real slow. I just took it nice and easy after I drew my line, and then went back through and hit it with the sanding wheel. So turned out really well, actually. And then on the roof, there's Charles, man, coming in to do his little cameo. You gonna say hi to the camera? Huh? And say what's up? No? Don't look at my grandpa's shoes. If you've watched my plantar fasciitis video, you know I gotta wear certain things on my feet, so don't you judge me. But they're comfortable. Old men got it right. They live in comfort. So I used these screws and these washers. These are those rubber washers you can get. These are 1/2 inch screws. I use those all the way across the top. It's nice and secure. Yeah, this is what it ended up being. I got a 5-inch overhang across the front, and then about 2 or 3 inch overhang on the side. I can't remember, I didn't measure it today. And then same on the back, just enough overhang. And I didn't want it to go too far, because if I ever wanted to put a rain catchment system back here, I wanted to leave it close enough. I am going to put a bracket across the back so I can slide basically a cut piece of this across the back during winter time. And same thing here. That's why I did this the way I did. I can just show you with a scrap piece kind of what I'm talking about. Oh, and this is the result to using the carbide tip saw. I'm telling you, it didn't work well. But this is essentially what would happen when I get it cut the right size and stuff. I can do this with one hand. So this will slide in and sit on this ledge here and protect them on the front, on the sides and on the back. Essentially that's what I'm doing. I'll have a little bracket or two keeping it in place, or attach magnets to it, or whatever I feel is necessary to keep it completely secure. But that's the gist of what my plan is for protection in winter, instead of using tarps and all that kind of stuff. And ta-da. This is what we got. This is what we ended up with. So the next clip you see will be this outside, but I'll go ahead and show you. So where this is going to go, so the chickens are there, as you know. This is going to go right there in front of Charles. So right here in this space, I've cleared it off. I got to get the block and do some leveling for the legs, because they're all going to be sitting on blocks. I just got to go get those. That's the only thing that's keeping me from having moved it out. So come on, bud. You'll see in a minute. Complete it out where it's supposed to be, and all set up for the rabbits. And so here it is. I tell you what, today is a beautiful day. It's like 70 degrees. I'm in my shorts weather. That's what I'm talking about. Spring. Yes, spring. So just wanted to finish up with this little video. So here it is, finished, set in place for the rabbits. Chateau de Rabbit. I got each leg set on bricks that I sunk into the ground. It made everything level, just because I wanted to just keep it off the dirt to prolong this wood. I mean, it is treated, but you know, anything you can do to help the wood out, you know, last longer. And I do have some spots where I just got to touch up a little bit of this paint from when I slid the cages in. I kind of beat it up because I was rushing, but it's no big deal. I don't have to repaint it, and it'll probably happen again. The only thing is this center cage. I made all my dimensions really exact for this center cage, so it's a little tight because these have these little tabs that stick out along the sides. It kind of, you know, but whatever. So I just got to fashion some tops to these J feeders, because for some reason when I ordered these I didn't realize these were the ones without tops. So I'm gonna make some tops, not buying any, of course. So yeah, really happy with how it turned out. It's close to the house, close to the shed. It's got all the feed in it and the hay, and it's close to the chickens. I wanted it far enough from the house where it wasn't an issue, but close enough to the house where it wasn't an issue. With our predator problem we've had out here, I didn't want them that far, and then plus my floodlights can reach out here. And I'm gonna put a motion light out here on the shed. I just gotta finish doing some things to that. But yeah, I just got a couple little things to tweak to deal with the rain. You know, like I said previously, I'm gonna make some panels slide in here on the sides and across the back. But I think I'm also gonna do either an awning, like a drop down awning of some sort, or a clear vinyl awning that kind of hangs at like an angle coming off of right here, just to keep as much water out of here as possible. I don't want my rabbits getting wet and things like that. So, but all in all, it is done, set in place. The cages, we're not included in that total. These cages are the Do More cages for Tractor Supply. They're 40 bucks a piece. And for the 3, I could not find material suitable enough to build rabbit cages that were thick enough gauge where it wouldn't cause blisters on their paws and stuff like that, to build 3 cages, just 3 cages, for cheaper than that. So cost effective for me, these 3 were. Did I just talk like Yoda? I think I did. So, and then J boxes for feeders, and then your waters obviously are a separate cost, however much those cost. I got these for like 12 or 13 bucks a piece offline, and then these were like 8 bucks, I think. Yeah, I think these were like 8 bucks. But highly recommend the ones that flip up on the outside, so you don't have to take the whole bottle off to fill it up. Obviously you're gonna take it off to clean it every so often, but it's just easy to be able to pop the lid and fill it and keep going. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're excited about the rabbits. I'm not gonna tell anybody what breed of rabbits I'm doing yet. I want it to be a surprise. So I'm gonna do another video on this when they get in their home, get all nice and happy. So anyway, everyone, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out with me. Like I said, it's a lovely 70-degree day. It is shorts weather finally, so get excited, do some outside stuff, do some gardening, get some rabbits, I don't know, do something. But thanks so much for coming and hanging with me. So, and sorry if I look rough or sound rough, I just woke up, my bad. So, all right, anyway, stay safe, take care, thanks so much.